It's Marathon Day, and it's actually the second year in a row I've done a video on Marathon Day. Although it starts at Greenwich, what they do is they started a long, arduous journey, and it's like the journey just sort of symbolises life. It's like preparation, execution, and conclusion or destination. That's what they do at the London Marathon, and although they start at Greenwich, they sort of go through the dodgy old southeast parts of London or whatever, and they slowly graduate as they go like up to Canary Wharf amongst the high rises. They come past this road here, conspicuously avoiding looking at a certain building, which is where I'm going in a minute, just up here. And they go down to Big Ben, where they take pictures with the powerful Parliament building. And the ultimate finish line is Buckingham Palace. And in that they're sort of, the whole thing is almost like an initiation ceremony, going through the different echelons of business and climbing the corporate ladder until you finally get to the very top. Because Buckingham Palace, of course, represents the very top, doesn't it, kiddies? Isn't that what your parents want you to think when they take you to Buckingham Palace? That the Queen is in charge, and that's the ultimate thing. Very visible during all of the footage, television footage, London Marathon, Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, all of these things that people know in their deepest hearts of hearts are really influential and powerful buildings. Curiously enough, when they go along the bottom of the City of London, nobody takes pictures of them running past Guildhall. That's what that man in yellow suddenly spotted. What is that strange, exotic building? Don't worry about it, sir. Of course, we all know the real top place is Buckingham Palace, yeah?
Pushing these guys on.
So, I'm trialing out new sound today, look. I've got a hand. It's actually quite miraculous. Whether or not you can actually hear me though, I do not know. So they come up here to Buckingham Palace to do the finish line for the London Marathon. Buckingham Palace, of course, symbolic more than anything else. It is symbolic. I guess it symbolises the top. If anything, the marathon finishing here and all the people coming in here and having a joyous celebration. I'm probably the only like cynical, depressive here right now. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, symbolic of the top, is it? Buckingham Palace. The buck stops here, does it? The Queen is in charge. The Queen's police force, the Queen's army, the Royal Air Force. The buck stops here at Buckingham, does it? Well, no. Well, no. The finish line being here really just reinforces the illusion in people's minds that in this country we have a constitutional structure, but we don't. There's nothing here in this country that is a true representation of all the people as they imagine it. They're all very sort of happy, and they act happy, don't they? They really do act happy, like they fly they wave the flags, you know. But they're happy in their ignorance because they believe that we have a constitutional structure, but we do not. there is a structure. I'm just not sure if you could call it constitutional. Of course, most people will be aware that what this building really represents and what people really should get from seeing this building is that this is separate from everything else. There's a separation of powers. In fact, royals have had no real structural power since, you could argue, a group of barons met in Runnymede or whatever, it was 1215, the Magna Carta. And if you ask most people, they'll say, if you ask them what was it replaced by in 1215, royal power. And in the English Civil War, you know, when power is lost from the royals, where does it go? And generally most people give you an argument based upon this little building here. I say little, it's so small when it's so far away. One of the most photogenic places actually for the London Marathon is coming past Big Ben. You know, it's a very symbolic structure. For a lot of people it symbolises, you know, the true independence of the nation. You know, the Parliament. People go, you know, have been to the Supreme Court to try and prove the ultimate privilege and sovereignty of the Parliament. I'm not sure if the sovereignty of the Parliament is really that important. What I think is important is the sovereignty of the individual. Individual sovereignty, meaning I would like them to take their hands out of my pockets. That is what actual freedom and sovereignty is about. The Parliament, I don't think, is a good representation of that. This is not a stress-free way to spend your afternoon, by the way. When you have a day off work, it's best just to stay in bed and not come down to this. In a lot of ways, the Houses of Parliament does represent something, and it's that this country has always been run by members' clubs. That is a members' club. If you get membership, you are a member of Parliament, and possibly that is the shittiest members' club in the universe. They literally will allow anybody to become a member. Doesn't seem that exclusive, does it? You know, John Lennon, who is of course remembered for not being so corporate and so into sort of money grabbing and stuff, but more interested in rights and rights of the individual. Well, did you know that the first time he was ever photographed with the round glasses, he was part of a comedy sketch with Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, and it was a sketch based upon John Lennon's real-world experience of not being allowed in to some of the most elitist members' clubs in Mayfair. Why did John Lennon want to be part of members' clubs in Mayfair and Soho and stuff? He was trying to get away from the mob, Beatlemania, the chaotic, feral mob. A members' club where they allow anybody to be a member, well, that is mob rule. That is the chaos, supposedly, controlling the system. But the Parliament does not really control anything. It's just a place of debate. It's a place of stalling. The real controlling arms of power, I believe anyway, lie somewhere else. But don't lie somewhere else. But don't tell the kiddies. It'll freak them out. Nobody's taking pictures with this building today. Seems to be conspicuously quiet. Why don't they flock outside here to share in the ambience of power derived from time immemorial? Well, a lot of people don't realise what it is, what it represents. But they do really. And it's all in the phrase common. The House of Commons, the Parliament and the House of Commons, the ones with the green seats, you know, the symbol of the first initiates, the first level into the fabric of society. The House of Commons, a place for all people to discuss all things, shared agreement, shared worries, shared goals. The Commons, but actually one of the most ancient assemblies of that kind resides still to this very day in this building here, and it is called Common Hall. Common Hall. Now, does that mean common problems, common goals, and that sort of thing? No. The City of London survived the Norman invasion. Why did the Normans decide to dominate and rule England and not the City of London? Well, it's because they had something in common. Common Hall is in reference to the common language, which was Latin. So the City of London, since the Norman invasion, has had a special kind of privilege, a separateness from the system, whilst also fabricating from its very beginnings the very structure of English society, based upon elitism and members' clubs, essentially. I would personally call this the Grand Mother Lodge of institutionalized theft, the worshipful company of tax sponge squeezers, the worshipful company of tax farmers. That's what this is. You know, the origins of tax farms actually originated on London Bridge. The Brethren of the Bridge ran the first tax farms. It was Norman French for contract farm, ferme, contract, tax contract. They have us under contract to firmly have their hands down our pockets for the whole of our lives and after our deaths. But then you look at this building, it seems empty, it can't be that powerful, surely. Well, no. That is, of course, just a gateway, a facade, a form of fortress to hide what is actually behind it, which is an anonymous group of business people in finance and banks and insurance, security, think tanks, to do with civil society. And their membership has always been strong. Inside the Guildhall, there's a statue of Margaret Thatcher. There's a statue of Winston Churchill. In fact, a weird statue of Winston Churchill, apparently, that smiles on one side, frowns on the other. Sort of a two-faced thing. Quite honest, really, to have a statue like that, because you have to be slightly two-faced to be a part of this members club and a part of the parliamentary members club. Somebody, of course, City of London sitting in a good position at the moment. They have their own Prime Minister from the worshipful company of marketers, the elite masters of thought leadership. So when we have a new election, remember who it is who's going to be taking charge. Individual financial freedom, sovereignty over the fruits of our labour, is not an anachronism. It is the way forward.